Well, it's a fascinating weekend to begin with because it's a very unique flavour to the semi-finals. Normally they're the usual suspects, serial winners of the tournament, serial finalists, semi-finalists, the Toulouses, the Munsters, the Biarritzes and what have you, and none of them are there. And you've got a Clermont, first-time semi-finalists, Edinburgh, first-time semi-finalists, Ulster, first-time semi-finalists in 13 years, and Leinster, twice winners in the last 3 years, going their fourth semi-final in a row. So experience should help Leinster. But if they had hand-picked a semi-final draw for Leinster, they could not have come up with a more difficult one than Clermont away. They've been in much better form than Toulouse in the Heineken Cup this season. It's their centenary year. They removed a giant-sized gorilla from their backs when they won the Bouclier de Brennus for the first time in their 10th final a couple of years back. And in their centenary year, they're going after the H-Cup. This is their priority. They'd like to win both, even if that's possible. They have a massive squad, a massive budget. They're already in the semi-finals of the top couture, so they can really afford to give it a go. They've won away to Saracens, which is a big plus for them. It gives them a lot of belief that they can win this game. It's almost unnerving that Leinster had such a handsome quarter-final win and have had a pretty smooth progress thus far, because think back to when Munster thrashed the Ospreys 3 years ago, got 8 picked in the Lions, and we thought they were going to go on and win it. Same day they were thrashing the Ospreys, I think Leinster were winning 6-5 away to Harlequins, and that turned out to be better preparation in the semi, and they won the semi handsomely, and they went on and won the tournament. So it's a little bit unnerving. I think it's the match of the season, potentially. I really think it's the match of the season. Two cracking sides, potentially the champions of France against the champions of the Rabo Pro 12 League. Whereas in the other half of the draw, you've got two teams who haven't even made the semi-finals of the Rabo Direct League. I think that it's going to be difficult for another couple of reasons, and that is away from home. The stats show it. 20 out of the 32 semi-finals today have been won by the home side. It's the one flaw in the competition, that it's a one-off game, effectively with home advantage. At least it's not in Marcel Michelin, where Clermont have won 42 games in a row. They're within 3 of the all-time French record, over 100 years. But you're going to still have about 25,000-30,000 Clermont fans there, with just by comparison 3,000 maybe Leinster fans. And that's going to put a lot of pressure. It's going to give a lot of inspiration to Clermont, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on Wayne Barnes and his officials. A little bit unnervingly, Wayne Barnes has refereed Ireland 5 times, and Ireland have lost 4 of them. Twice to Wales, once to Scotland, and once to the All Blacks, when he red-carded Jamie Heaslip early on. The one time Ireland won was the Grand Slam match at the Millennium Stadium, and the penalty count was 15-5 to Wales. He didn't have a good game. He had a bizarre game. He was utterly inconsistent. And this is going to be even more intimidating. In his last 14 Heineken Cup matches, only one away side has won. And running the line is Dave Pearson, the same double act that got the 2 late decisions wrong in the Ireland-Wales game in the Six Nations this year. So all those factors make me believe it's going to be a very, very tough day at the office for Leinster. The good thing from Leinster's point of view is that they are the best team in Europe. They are playing the best rugby. They have got an X factor to the game that nobody else has. They explore space and have great work rate off the ball and support runners, and their option taking on the ball is brilliant. I think their scrum will be solid, particularly now with Brad Thorne there. He's been a great signing for them, I believe, because as Mike Ross says about Thorne scrummaging behind him, he compresses your spine in new and interesting ways. I think that Leinster scrum will be okay. I think Clermont will play a lot of territory. James will kick the ball a lot, and Leinster will have to do a fair bit of defending, but I think they're the best defensive side in Europe as well as the best attacking side. And ultimately, you'd have to think that they will have the experience individually and collectively of this tournament. With Thorne, a World Cup winner in the second row, Leo Cullen, Jamie Heaslip, Redden, Sexton, O'Driscoll, they're just full of leaders. And come the 60th, 70th, or perhaps even the 80th minute, they might have the decision makers to come through. As for the other one, Ulster are in new territory, unnerving territory for them, because they're favourites and they're expected to win, and they'll have a huge support base, huge expectations on them. They're missing John Afoe, who's a hugely influential player for them. They could be missing Chris Henry, who's been a fabulous player for them this season, really made himself into a 7. There's rumours going around that they might change the half, bring in Paddy Jackson instead of Ian Humphries. So they're going to need another superb kicking day from Ruan Pinar. They're going to need to start well, because if Edinburgh get a sniff, Bradley has developed a real Munster-type cup team here. I mean, they're putrid in the league, second from bottom, only above Aroni. But they've raised it for 7 games in the Heineken Cup, and they're going to raise it again, and they're away from home, underdogs. they can swing from the hip, and I think this could be a very tricky, dangerous game for Ulster. But if I had to call it, I'll be going all Irish final, Leinster-Ulster.